lot of information and a few slides to get it all in. We'll do the best we can. A few months back, Mr. Mayor, Council, City Manager asked us to take a look at the types of recycling programs that are available for the city. So we've done that, and we've gone back and looked at the typical types of recycling that most municipalities employ. And these are the typical types of recycling that they use, and there's variations to these, but these are typical. Curb sorted is a program we have right now, where you place a 22-gallon bin out to the curb, you put your recyclables in that open bin. We come by with a truck, pick it up, and it's manual sorting. Dual stream is a truck that has split down the middle, and commodities go on each side. Your fiber products will go on one side, and your plastics and glass and tin cans, aluminum cans will go on the other side. We keep them separate. Single stream is where everything is put in one bin together. I place in there except glass. The reason we won't put glass in there is it contaminates the waste stream and it makes the product that we want to deliver to the recycling provider a less valuable product. We will still take glass, but it will be at two of our locations, the Killeen Recycling Center downtown or the drop-off point out of the out of the transfer station. So to have an example of the cart that we're recommending use is behind you guys to my right. There's a 96-gallon cart there on the far right next to next to the table there, and then a 64-gallon cart. So those would be the type of carts that, if council were to approve a single stream recycling program, that we would look at using. We're going to go from this method here, and I think everybody's familiar with this method on the left, which is the 22-gallon tote, to the automated method on the right, which would be a rollout cart like was behind you guys, in a 96 or 64-gallon size, depending on city council's preference. Like I said, all recyclables go in one container. We can service more parts in the same time frame due to automation. Right now, we service about 800 houses per day, and it takes us four vehicles to do that. We can do that more than easily enough with one vehicle in an automated type system. So an automated system can do about 1,000 carts a day, somewhere in that neighborhood. We will accept all plastics 1 through 7 versus what we currently take, which is plastics number 1 and number 2. That's the recommendation we would take to broaden the availability of plastic that we accept.
I don't know what that means.
On the bottom of, one thing that lives at the bottom of one of these plastic water bottles, there's usually a triangle somewhere along the bottom of it. And in that triangle, there's a number, like it's a number. And those correlate to types of plastics that the recycling industry takes, 1 through 7. PET is number 1. HDPE would be like your washing detergent bottles, that would be number 2. And the plastics all go by grade, or through the numbers to number 7. Here's some facts about recycling, just to give us a little education. 80% of all waste that we dispose of is recycled. 1 ton of recycled paper will save approximately 17 trees. Recycling 1 aluminum can saves enough energy to power a TV for about 3 hours. It takes up to 700 years for plastic to decompose or break down in the landfill. An average person generates over 4 pounds of trash every day, and the average family about 1 ton of solid waste per year. So right now we dispose of 45,000 tons worth of waste in the residential waste stream, so that equates to about 46,000 accounts that we have. So it works out to, the math works out to about 1 ton per person. And that's a national average. Why it makes sense to recycle? Surveys in Central Texas have shown that over 80% of residents support recycling. Residents interested in recycling know the importance of recycling, but right now we don't have a single stream program. And most of the Texas and Central area or region have gone to single stream recycling. Hope is going that way now, Temple is going that way, Austin is that way, and you can name off a few more cities, and they're all moving towards that single stream program. It protects the environment by limiting unnecessary waste going to the landfill, and it's the right thing to do. Savings through diversion. A lot of people calculate savings through diversion or participating in a program. Current tonnage right now from curb sorted program, or the program that we use currently, is about 40 tons a month or 480 tons annually. An average home will generate 8 to 10 pounds of recycling per week, or 32 to 40 tons per month. So the waste diverted from landfill could be as much as 11,000 tons annually when residential recycling is fully implemented. 46,000 households times, the 32 to 40 pounds per week will give us about 11,000 tons. So we could see as much as that. Not saying we will, but we could. Savings through diversion continue. Solid waste has about 46,000 customers, as I've said. So 46,000 times 20 or 40 would give us anywhere from 460 to 920 tons per month diverted from the landfill. This could result in a disposal savings of approximately $210,000 to $420,000 because we wouldn't have to pay for that material to go to landfill. We wouldn't have to pay the hauling cost or the disposal cost. How do we fund a single stream program? Well, we can spread the cost of the program to every customer. This should encourage more participation since it will be incorporated into the waste bill. Revenue to cover the cost of the program will be generated by inclusion recycling fees and waste bills, as I stated. So to give council some examples of various cities through the country that have done this, the city of Spring Hill, Tennessee just implemented the program, and the average cost of their customers will be about $3.58 in addition to their current waste bill. Jamestown, North Carolina, $3. Bismarck, North Dakota, $3.50. And Belton, City of Belton is going out for a contract looking for a waste/recycling program. And as I spoke with their solid waste, their public works director, he indicated it would be somewhere around $3 as part of their waste bill. So it's included as part of it. Elgin, Bastrop, Austin, Marble Falls, Anderson Mill, Mud, for example, all charge residents on the utility bill, irrespective of whether they recycle or not. So I think it's true for most, if not all, cities in Central Texas that are providing curbside recycling. As a matter of fact, and I've checked with the industry experts, I don't know of any cities that have curbside recycling that are voluntary subscription except for the city.
How did that happen?
How did we go to a subscription service?
Yeah.
I wasn't here then, but I've read a little bit of the history, and I'll try to recall as much of it as I can. And Richard, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe back in 2000-2001 time frame, council asked Mr. McBride, my predecessor, to look at a recycling program. I believe they went out for RFPs, and a company named Harvest Recycling was selected to provide the service. They did. It went online in around 2001. They had about 4,400 customers. At the end of that time frame, and it was the current program that we have now with the bins, at the end of that time frame, a recommendation was made to continue the program, and they went out for RFPs for a recycling provider, somebody to come in and actually provide that service to the citizens of Killeen. Number of waste companies bid on the project, and ultimately a solid waste committee recommended that they reject all the bids and provide that service or require the service to be provided by the City of Killeen Solid Waste Department. So I think I have all my facts straight. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think they're pretty accurate. And that's been the recommendation since then. That's what we've been doing, is that program. Since 2002, I think, is when we took over. The City of Killeen took over and provided a subscription service at a cost. And that's where we've been. Economy of scale is important to keep collection costs and unit lower. So, if we have to pass 5 houses to pick up 1 house, of course it's going to be more expensive. So, if we can spread that cost over more households, and we stop at each one of those 5 houses, then of course the cost will be lower to each one of those 5 houses. Full implementation. We recommend a phased approach if council decides to fully fund this program. The reason we say a phased approach because it will take some time to put everything together. Number of homes in that program will be 46,000. That will be the entire city for residential. And the estimated cost for residents for a fully implemented program would be approximately $2.50 to the current waste bill. It's still to be determined, but that's an approximate number right now of the calculations that I've figured out. And it's projected to burn as much as 24% from the residential waste stream. So as I've said, we dispose of 45,000 tons of waste per year in the residential waste stream. So that would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,800, 11,000 tons of waste that we could potentially divert from the landfill. Residential curbside recycling, where do we go from here? Option 1, would be to initiate a pilot program for single stream recycling using the poly carts that you see behind you in one of the two sizes. Option 2 will be implement a citywide program in a phased approach. As I've said before, it would take some time to acquire the equipment, the materials, and the personnel. That's why we recommend a phased approach. Option 3 would be do nothing and continue with the current curbside recycling program that we have now. Option 1, initiate a pilot program. The pilot program would be approximately 1,000 homes, and we would use a mix of newer and older neighborhoods, depending on the number of homes in the pilot program. Recycling would be the same day as regular trash pickup on an every other week basis. To begin either program, which is most important, before we start doing any of this, we have to have a recycling partner to deliver these materials to. And the estimated cost of that pilot program will be around $65,000. That would buy the carts. That would buy approximately 1,000 carts to do a pilot program.
Councilor Clark?
Yes, sir.
I have to get something squared away in my head.
Okay.
Because if I don't, I'm not gonna understand anything you're saying.
Okay.
Well, because you're not gonna pick up glass, so will the families have a green container and a blue container?
No, sir. Glass, since it's a contaminant in a lot of the material processing facilities, it gets impregnated in the plastic when you compact it and it gets hauled. And once it gets embedded in the plastic and the fibers, it's hard to get it out, and therefore makes that product that we would send to them less valuable. So what we would do is go to an approach where we would still take glass, but it would be at one of our 2 drop-off locations. It wouldn't go in a single cart anymore.
If we would have a green and a blue. We would have a regular trash.
Yes, sir. In that regard, yes, sir. A trash can and a recycling can, yes, sir. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem Blackstone?
Places I've seen, especially a lot of the Scandinavian countries and places, they have like these bins on the side of the streets where you can go put your glass in. There might be one per neighborhood or 2 or 3, so you could let people do it there rather than have to take them downtown or out. And that would just be like a large dumpster.
For your glass containers, yes, ma'am. That's a possibility, yes, ma'am.
Because a lot of people wouldn't take it if they had to go pretty far away, but if you could walk down the street and put it in.
Now, there are communities that do put glass in their recycling. We do have some experts here from the regional areas that could address that if y'all wanted to, but I do believe, and what I've been told, it increases residual weight, which is waste product of the recycling process, and it's not as valuable.
If you don't put it in your bin though, if you don't put it in your
Yes, ma'am.
bin, but you actually take the glass down and put it in a dumpster that collects everybody's in the neighborhood's glass
Yes,
or
ma'am.
something,
Yes,
then that would never mix with the other recyclables.
No, ma'am, it wouldn't. In that case, it would.
Councilor Clark?
The reason I asked the question about the green and blue bin is because bullet number 3, that's where I was confused.
Yes,
You would
sir.
pick up the blue bin one week and you would pick up the green bin the next week, is that?
You would set out your regular trash cart, grayish,